All right, everybody, welcome to MS Office Hours. Today is Thursday, October 3rd. My name is Heather Cox.
I am
And
Chanel
I'm,
Hall. Oh,
Chenille, you're the star. So Andrea's going to go, and then we're going to come to you
oh,
guys.
sorry.
and I'm Andrea Singh Rio. Excited to have both of these folks with us today. I'll let Heather introduce them.
All right. So Anthony's one of our MS Office Hours substitutes. He comes in and helps us out when we need it. But Anthony and Chenille are going to talk to us about elevating our work to the cloud. So the show is yours.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Andrea. Really appreciate it. Good seeing everybody again. As you guys know, my name is Anthony Wallace. We're here. We're excited to talk to you guys about Windows 365 Cloud PC, why we're so excited about it, and why you should be too. What we're going to do is we're going to talk to you about, what it is, how it works, go through a little bit of a demo. But first, as I mentioned, let me introduce ourselves. As I mentioned before, my name is Anthony Wallace. I'm a Cloud Endpoint Technical Specialist for Microsoft Education.
And I'm Chanel Hall, also a cloud endpoint tech specialist. So I have the privilege of working on the same team as Anthony.
All right. And like I mentioned, we're just going to go through what Windows 365 Cloud PC is. It's a very, very robust. It's a newer solution in our house. And we're really excited about it. We use it frequently within our team. And we want to kind of put, you onto what it is, why you should be excited about it, and how it can work for what you do inside of your environment. So what I'll do is I'll hand it over to Chenille, who's going to talk us through the what it is, how it works, and we'll go from there.
Thank you. Thank you, Anthony. So really excited to be joining today as a presenter for the first time. As you can tell, I was jumping ahead on my intro there. But yeah, let's jump into a quick overview of Windows 365, let you know what it is and kind of how it works. So Windows 365 is our cloud-based service that essentially introduced a new way to experience Windows. So with this service, you can enable your users to stream stream the full Windows experience. So anything from the data, the apps, the settings from the Microsoft Cloud to practically any device. Oops, I think I jumped ahead here. Practically to any device. So regardless of, where the device is located, regardless of whether it's personally owned device or an organization issued device, we do grant that flexibility. And thinking about Windows 365, right, it combines the power and the security of the cloud with the familiarity of the physical PC experience. So this is why we call it cloud PCs, right? Windows 365 cloud PCs, so that's what each instance is called. And so by bringing Windows to the cloud, I think it's really evolved from being just like a local device-based operating system to more of like a flexible hybrid end user computing platform. So our vision for the evolution of Windows was really to empower organizations of all sizes to confidently facilitate productivity for both on-site end users as well as users who might be spread across different regions. So when I think about the benefits of Windows 365, I like to split it up across these three pillars. So productivity, security, simplified management. So one, productivity, pretty straightforward. Is granting users access to a personalized desktop from anywhere on any device. To security. So Windows 365, it's been designed really based on our zero trust security principles to mitigate risk and really align with your organization's compliance needs. And then what I really like to focus on though is the third pillar. So simplified management, because I believe this is what really sets Windows 365 apart from other solutions. So cloud PCs, these are provisioned customized, managed all through our endpoint management solution, Intune. It doesn't require your IT team to have like deep technical knowledge of virtual desktop infrastructure. It's really as simple as assigning some licenses and creating some policies, right? So you can get a cloud PC running in less than an hour, give or take, depending on requirements. So pretty, again, simple to manage and provision. So hopefully at this point, now that I've given you some details on what it is, maybe you're starting to wonder, where Windows 365 fits in your organization. So here's just like a subset of scenarios that this technology has been designed to support. So bring your own device, or BYOD. Again, enabling users to access the resources they need even from their personal devices. And, this has a lot of advantages, not only from the end user and the IT perspectives, but also from the business perspective, where you can potentially reduce the quantity of organization issued devices that you have to purchase for every single user, especially in those really, really large environments. The hybrid work scenario, don't want to be redundant, but again, granting your users that flexibility to work from anywhere, pretty much anywhere they can access the internet, right? And mergers and acquisition scenario. So this one I see more of in the academic medical center space, where sometimes you may have like multiple health systems that are converging, and they really want to like maintain user productivity and minimize downtime. Right. So some other scenarios that aren't really illustrated here, but are also like really important and are addressed by Windows 365. So like temporary workforces where there's temporary staff members or students, just folks who may need access for a limited amount of time and can be quickly onboarded and then offboarded. Disaster recovery, also a really, really important scenario, of course, as well as high capacity computing environments, right? So those environments that have that requirement, Windows 365 is designed to tackle those types of things. So really just want you to take away here that this solution is strongly positioned to support various needs for your organization. And I think once you start to really think about the use cases in your particular organization, you'll be able to understand like how to best license your users and ensure cost efficiency with this solution. And so speaking of licensing, Windows 365 Enterprise is licensed per user per month. So from a billing perspective, costs are pretty predictable. And we do offer a wide range of compute, memory, and storage configurations, including our recently launched GPU-enabled cloud PCs. So I'll touch on that a little bit more in the next slide. Something that usually comes up, a question that usually comes up when I show this slide is it a requirement for all users in the environment to have the same configuration? The answer is no. You can definitely mix it up depending on your user workloads. For instance, if you're licensing, let's say, a total of 1,500 users, but only half of them need higher processing power and like more abundant storage, you can purchase just 750 licenses with this 832 512 configuration, while the other 750 standard users could be something like a 416 256 configuration, right? So you're not locked into just a single configuration type. You have the freedom to combine, several different configurations. You also have the ability to resize PCs at any given moment, even after they've been provisioned. So some additional flexibility there. And something that was previously a big ask from several organizations was the ability to run graphic intensive workloads on Windows 365. So we took that feedback and we addressed this need with GPU enabled cloud PCs. And I'd say within the education space, more so higher ed, I know there are users in like certain departments maybe focused on, like engineering, design, research, things like that, that really need like the more advanced performance and processing speeds to tackle all their projects. So we do offer like 3 tiers of GPU licensing, standard, super, and max to, again, cater to these needs. So I was really excited to see that we added this and further expanded the types of scenarios where Windows 365 is a really great fit. Okay, so moving on, I'm sure a lot of you would agree. Here at Microsoft, we invest a lot into ensuring that our technology is constantly evolving to align with every organization's growing needs. So since the initial launch of Windows 365, as Anthony mentioned, this is still a relatively new product, but we do continue to, enhance it and improve it. So we've been adding features over time to enhance, again, the productivity, security, simplify management, right? Going back to those 3 pillars that I mentioned at the beginning. So really quickly, here are some of the things that have been added over time Windows 365 boot. This feature allows users who are on Windows 11 to sign directly into their cloud PC. So this really pretty much minimizes the amount of time and effort that is needed to access their desktop. Windows 365 switch. This again on Windows 11 allows users to easily switch or move between their local device and their cloud PC from the task view. And then in addition to the Windows 365 Enterprise SKU, which I touched on a little while ago, we offer a frontline SKU, which is designed for users who don't necessarily need 24/7 access to a dedicated cloud PC. So with Frontline, a single license can provision up to 3 cloud PCs. Just keep in mind that only one cloud PC can be used at a time. So for example, if you purchase 100 Frontline licenses, up to 300 cloud PCs can be provisioned, but only 100 of those PCs can be active at a given time. So again, this license, the structure is really ideal for those organizations with users who don't need that round-the-clock access to a cloud PC. And then Cloud PC Move was essentially a feature that was added to simplify the workflow of moving cloud PCs to new regions or new networks simply by editing the provisioning policy in Intune. Prior to this addition, you'd have to completely deprovision and then reprovision them. So just kind of giving you an idea of the things that we've done to continually grow Windows 365. And something that I like to call out again to emphasize the simplicity and flexibility that Windows 365 grants is the ability to select from different gallery images, right? Spanning from Windows, different versions across Windows 10 and 11. And so with this in mind, your IT team doesn't have to worry about managing all these different custom images. And that can be complex, that can cause some headaches. So you can avoid all of that just by leveraging gallery images. Now, we do also provide the option to import those custom images. So again, you have that flexibility, but we definitely recommend just leveraging the gallery images because those are typically suitable for most scenarios. Alrighty, so we are officially just about a year away from Windows 10 reaching end of support. So if you haven't started at least thinking about your journey to Windows 11, let this be your reminder to get started. But don't worry, we do recognize that there might be some circumstances where certain organizations aren't able to necessarily meet this deadline. So we do plan on providing extended security updates or ESUs just to give you a little bit more time to transition. And really great news as it relates to Windows 365. So Windows 10 ESU licenses will be included with Windows 365 licenses. So basically, if you purchase Windows 365 licenses and you license your users appropriately, you provision out their Windows 11 Cloud PCs, once they sign into those Windows 11 Cloud PCs from their Windows 10 device, this is of course after the end of support date, the device will actually automatically be activated to receive those security updates. And this is at no additional cost with the Windows 365 license. So pretty cool perk if you ask me. And I will just, I guess, wrap up with these next couple of slides, kind of just showing how we've thought about, AI integration and wanting to enhance the Windows 365 experience, both for the end user as well as for IT. So we made sure to enable Cloud PC users to take advantage of our Copilot offerings just as they would through their local desktop. So just want to put that out there. And then on the IT side, one of the things that I mentioned earlier was the ability to resize cloud PCs. And we've made this process easier by adding AI-powered recommendations. So right within Intune, you can find a report for Cloud PC recommendations. And this just helps you basically find like the optimal configuration based on machine learning algorithms and models that actually analyzes usage data. So I think that's also really cool. And of course, as I said, we're constantly investing in more technology and AI integration. So we do hope to add additional AI-based functionality to further simplify management in this way. And so yeah, that wraps up my overview. So I think Anthony, if you're ready, I'll stop sharing and just give you the floor so you can actually show us what a cloud PC looks like.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Janelle. That was great. I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen. Give me 1 second to flip over, and here we go. Okay, so thumbs up if anyone can see my screen. I saw one. It's good enough. All right. Thank you, Chanel, for that. So let's just go straight into demoing Windows 365. But before I lost access to the chat for some reason, I can't see it. So I'm
Hey,
gonna try and. Did somebody need to ask a question? All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and answer one of the questions that I saw.
let's see. I know I've got to be at Roy Waldron
Seems like somebody's
at.
off mute and they don't realize that they are. I'm gonna go ahead and see if we can mute them. All right, perfect. One of the questions that I saw was, based on, what makes Windows 365 different. It's clear to understand that Windows 365 does not replace AVD. It's not a replacement for it. It's designed to work alongside it, right? So there are different use cases. Windows 365 gives you a one-to-one experience. It's designed for that one-to-one experience that you want to give a particular user. AVD is what it does very well is giving you a shared experience. So you don't have the, you know, with Windows 365, you want to create that environment and that solution for that user, and it's their PC. So think of it as buying a PC for someone, and giving it to them and assigning it to them, and that's their PC for them to use. That's essentially what the cloud PC experience is designed to be like. So what are the use cases? A couple examples that come to mind: employees that work from home, right? Employees that work on the go, they're constantly on the go, and they need an access to a high performing, constantly accessible, secured and up to date PC. That's where Windows 365 comes in. Someone that works out of the area, maybe they work out of the city, out of the state. I have one customer that has some users using them out of the country. Maybe you have temporary employees. If you think of where I come from, a K-12, maybe you have auditors that just need to have access to it for maybe a couple weeks or a couple months, and they don't have a device, but they have some way that they can access it. This gives them access to it, and it's secured. Um, Maybe you have customers that are people in your environment that are using devices, maybe Apple devices or Chromebooks, and they need to be able to have access to a secured Windows environment in order to do what they need to do. Windows 365 comes into play. You can deploy it and have it up and running for them in minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the process really quickly with the time that we have left of how you can go ahead and get that device up and running. I won't get too technical because I can talk technical aspects about this all day, but just showing how quickly it is to get one up and running and how efficient it is to do so. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off in the M365 Admin Center, so you can see my test environment here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my licenses. So I already purchased a couple licenses of Windows 365. This is my SKU right here. So what I'll do here is I'll just go in here just like any other solution that we have Microsoft, and just go ahead and assign these licenses to a couple users. So what I did ahead of this call was I assigned these users. Here's my Ahsoka Tano. You guys know what the awesome X-Wing I have in the back, that I love Star Wars. So Ahsoka Tano, she's got her own Cloud PC license. And then my buddy Tony Stark from the Avengers, I'm a big Avengers fan, he's got one too. Okay. And I'm going to show you a little bit of differences on how the licensing and that works. But they've got two licenses assigned to them. That's all I need to do from the admin center. I just have to assign those licenses either to a users or to a group of users. All right. So I'm going to go over here into Intune. And again, I'll reemphasize the fact that this is extremely easy to deploy. You don't need any VDI experience in order to do this. You have access to Intune. You have access to your admin portal or someone that can get access to it. You can get this cloud PC up and running. So inside my Intune tenant, I'm going to go over here to devices. When I click on devices, you'll see that I have a little option here for Windows 365. This is a fresh tenant, so there's not a whole lot configured into it. I have one device in here, and it's a pre-configured cloud PC. So you'll be able to see I have one provision right here. When I go into my all cloud PCs, as I mentioned, these are already provisioned. This is one that's already provisioned for Ahsoka Tano. She's already got one that's ready to go. Tony Stark's was not provisioned yet because of the way that we do the licensing is that that user has to be inside the group that you provide the licensing to, and he's not in it, so he's not going to get a device provision. So that's something that you'll have to understand when you start to configure it. It's a note to take. But another question I saw before I lost access to the chat is, can you configure a cloud PC with, and connect it to to Active Directory? Yes, you can. You can do hybrid connection. You can do purely Microsoft interjoined. However you want to be able to make that cloud PC accessible and what it needs to touch, you can configure that here. So when we go into our provisioning policies, this basically determines what my cloud PC build is going to look like. I'm not going to walk you through it, but I'll show you what this provisioning policy is like. In here, I made this a cloud PC, a cloud join only, so Microsoft interjoin, using my geography for the time zone and things like that. And then over here, we have the ability to attach an image. All right, so we already have images created for you. If I were to go in here, I'd be able to show you all the different images that Microsoft is hosting for you that we have available. I just went ahead and did the Windows 11 with the Microsoft 365 apps for 23H2. If you have your own custom image, you can go ahead and upload that, and that way you can just build your cloud PC off of that. And then here, whatever you want to decide to name your cloud PC. I'm using the default CPC for cloud PC. So when I start to add other devices into my tenant, I'll be able to know what that is. And this is the wildcard strand that I'm using for my username, and then a random 5-digit strand. You want to use any scope tags or assignments. Assignment is who you're going to assign these cloud PCs to, and that's where you would specify, who's in that group. In this particular scenario, they'll get a cloud PC if they have the license for it. So let me go back. This is where you would put your custom images if you have any custom images. And then if you are using an Azure network, you can go ahead and configure that for your cloud PC. You'd have to configure this first. Obviously, you need to have someone in the configuration, involved in this that has complete access to, managing your Azure network, because there's some things that they have to be able to put in and authorize. And then last but not least, my user settings. So what do I want my users to be able to do? Do I want them to be local administrators or not? Give them the ability to reset their cloud PCs, allow them to use the system restore, just simple user settings that we want our users to be able to do. So we go ahead and configure that, and we assign it to the same group. And that's pretty much it. So once I do that, I've assigned the licenses, and I've gone ahead and created the user settings. These cloud PCs will automatically begin to configure. And it takes literally a couple minutes to build one from scratch from the moment you do all of this to the point where it's available. And it'll let you know it's available when you see provision here. One last thing before I actually go into demoing the cloud PC is being able to see what that cloud PC looks like on the property side. So when I go to properties here, just like any other device, anybody on the call that's familiar with, utilizing Intune, I can see all the information that I need to see about this particular cloud PC. So I can go ahead and see, what the device build is about. I have a 4 CPU, 16 gigabyte, 256 storage cloud PC here. Other information here, and there's a lot more other information that I'll be able to see, just like any other device inside of my tenant. Okay, so that's just for me to be able to, see what's going on, any troubleshooting I may need to do. I can go ahead and do that. All right. But as far as just, the configuration of it, that's it. That's all I need to be able to do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and log into that cloud PC. So not to have any, user overlapping, I'm just going to head and open a in private browser, and I'll go to windows365.microsoft.com. Now, just to kind of speed things up, I already went through the MFA process with this user just so that I can get to the screen, but this is what my landing page would look like. So if I had access to multiple cloud PCs, I would have, them all lined up here. As a side note, I know Chenille touched up on this briefly. If I did have the Windows app, I'll drag that into the screen right here. I can log in with the Windows app. This is my constant computer, my hardware device that I'm using. I'll be able to do that as well. But for the sake of understanding that I'll be able to access this cloud PC from anywhere, from any device, whether it be a mobile phone, a tablet, any operating system, other type of device, I can do so just from my browser. So what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and click open in browser. I've already gone through the MFA process here. It's going to ask me a couple for my in session settings. So what do I want to transfer? What I want to mirror into my Windows 365 environment? Anything that you have that's currently attached to your physical device, you can mirror that into the cloud PC. So for the use case here, we're just going to use location and the keyboard shortcuts. And I'll go ahead and click connect. All right. And once I do that, it just takes a couple seconds. And I'm in my cloud PC, and I'm already there, right? So remember, this is a 416 256, right? Generally, when you think of a physical PC with those specs nowadays, that's pretty much the bare minimum, just simply because of all the drivers, all the resources that physical device needs to use in order to function. Remember, this is a cloud PC, and it's designed specifically for this user, so it doesn't have to rely on as many resources just to be up and running. So this 416 256 feels faster than it really is. Just to kind of give you an example of how quickly this actually functions, actually blocked on my camera, excuse me. I'm going to go ahead and click start. I already deployed all the Office apps to this cloud PC. I'm going to go ahead and load them all up just to see how quickly it can run. All right, so I'm going to fire up Word. All right, I'm going to fire up Excel. I'm going to fire up PowerPoint. We know that takes a while to load up. I'm going to go ahead and fire up OneNote. I'll open up Edge. And if you notice how quickly those popped up, it's almost instantaneous. Because this cloud PC doesn't have to draw from any other resources or use any other resources in order to, kind of get things up and running. This is dedicated to the user. So their experience as the end user is going to be exactly like this. And this is what we want for them to be able to do when they need to access this cloud PC from anywhere. When I need to get into this device quickly, be able to do my work, and get out. This is exactly what this experience is like. Another thing, I hope this shows up on the screen, is that this will, if you've used AVD, this will be very familiar, but if you've never used a virtual machine or anything like that, this cloud PC, because it's browser based, it's going to scale the display to whatever size you're using. So one of the things that I do personally when I'm using my cloud PC, I use multiple monitors. So I have 3 monitors I have set up on my desk. I'm able to span this across all those, just like it would be a physical device. So I'm going to drop this down here like that. You see it instantly resize. However, whatever size I want to make this, it instantly scales, right? So that performance is something that you're gaining by going with a cloud PC. And everything that you do with any other physical device inside of your tenant, you're able to do it here. Get that device up and running, get it in their hands, and allow them to do what they need to do quickly, efficiently, effectively, and know that it's in a secured environment that you can manage from anywhere in the world, just like anything else that you're doing in Intune. And that's the whole concept behind Windows 365, is the simplicity, the reach, the security, and the power to give your users the ability to do what they need to do from any device, anywhere in the world. All right. I think I ran right up on my time, but that's pretty much the end of my demo. I can't see the chat for some reason, but if there's any time for any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, drop them in the chat and I'll try and get back to them. Shanil or I will get back to them as soon as we possibly can.
This is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing so many wonderful things. I am with you on the Team 3 monitors. Big fan of having it wrap around and all of that, and appreciate everything you shared. I'll let Heather close us out.
Yeah, that's all we've got for today. Thank you so much, Shanil. Thank you for coming as a first-time presenter. Awesome. So glad to have you here working with Anthony, a longtime MS Office Hours crew member and community member. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'll get this posted, and we will see you all again next week. Have a wonderful evening.
Have a good one, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks.